Hello, it's Oompy. Today's a new day and I'm going to get ready to take the tractor out and have a little bit of an adventure. I can't work on my woods road because it's still a little too wet. It rained for the past couple days and the trail is very muddy right now. I still have a lot to do out there. My plan is to put a lot more rocks on that road to make it easier for the tractor to drive on it. Today I'm going to take the tractor out to an old barn foundation that we have at the edge of our property and see if I can find anything left behind by the people that built that barn. My goal is to clear out the inside of that old foundation and have it for just maybe a garden area or maybe a fire pit, or just have it cleaned out of brush so that we can use the space. So before that, we need to get this tractor ready, and that means putting the batteries in it and adding some diesel fuel. This tractor has two fuel tanks, a main and an auxiliary tank. They each hold about 10 gallons, so the tractor takes 20 gallons of diesel fuel to fill it up. All right, the next step is to put the batteries in, and I keep the batteries out because there's something wrong with the wiring of this old tractor, and there is a leak or a short circuit somewhere. So if I leave the batteries in all the time, they get discharged. Also, most of the time it's cold here and the batteries really don't like freezing cold temperatures, so I put them inside the garage. There, now we're ready to start the tractor. Oh, I've got to take the cap off the smokestack. I use this rusty coffee can to keep the rain out of the smokestack. Okay, here we go. Put the cover back on. So we're headed down to the old barn foundation at the edge of the property. And I was clearing it out, clearing the brush and trees out from it the other day, and I found some old pieces of iron and some old antique square nails. I'm interested to see if there's anything else that I can find down there. Any more treasures. So here we are in the middle of the old barn foundation. This may look like just a dirt pile or a vacant lot, but this is actually surrounded, this whole area is surrounded by these old stone walls, which leads me to believe that it used to be a barn. Over the years, what happens is these old foundations start to tumble in because the moisture in the ground will freeze, and that expands and pushes the wall forward. And every single year that happens, the wall gets pushed forward a little bit more, and pretty soon it collapses in on itself. You can see here, this is where I've been getting a lot of the stone for my woods road. Yes, there's an old tire here. I'm going to dispose of that properly. But this part of the barn foundation has pretty much completely collapsed in, and I'm going to use these stones to put down on my road. But I would like to save the rest of this foundation and make this area into a nice little garden or a lawn. While I was clearing it out, I found an area where there were some old iron things, and I've already dug up a bunch of stuff, but I really think that there's a lot more here, and it's all around the roots of this tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tree down, and we're going to use the backhoe to dig right here and see if there's anything else interesting here. This is what I've found so far here. I've got a little pile of it here. There's, I'm not sure what this is, an old clamp of some kind, or U-bolt. Then there's an old horseshoe. We have an O-ring. This is one of the most interesting things. This is a log dog. It was used for basically holding two pieces of wood or two logs together while they were being worked on, or cut or split or otherwise shaped. And so this is really an interesting piece of history. Then there's basically a whole pile of these old square nails. I love these things. I think they're really cool. Yes, they are rusty. Some of these are quite large. But I'm going to save these because they would be great for art projects or other types of things that I might want to build. So before that I even dig up this old tree stump to see what might be in this area, just walking around here I noticed some things right on the surface, so I'm just gonna scrape away the leaves and see if there's anything else in here. It looks to me, if I had to guess, they probably had a fire, and when the barn either fell down or was torn down, I'm guessing they probably piled everything in the middle and burned it. And this might be the remains of a burn pile, just because there's a bunch of other rusty nails and items in here, odds and ends. There's a rock. But I'm just curious to see what else I can find just by exposing some of this ground here. You know, there's get that out of the way.
there are, I thought I saw a few other things in here. Oh yeah, that's looks like a rusty can lid, and a modern day nail, or not a square nail. Yeah, see, there's another old big square nail. Things just kind of keep popping out here, and that looks like some melted glass. So that to me says there was probably a fire here. Curious what else is in this pile. You know, I'd love to find old stuff, even if it's just rusty nails, because there were people here before us, and they had lives, they built things. They had this barn, so obviously they were living here for a little while, and who knows what their lives were like. Consisted of probably a lot more manual labor than we do today. Let's see what else is in this area here. That's some more just of this rusty metal strapping. I'm guessing that's probably what they used for barrels. Strapping for a barrel. That's rock. That's a piece of rock. That's a piece of glass there. Let's see what's under this stump. All right, we'll get the backhoe going.
So before we get started digging up that stump, let me take you on a tour of the tractor itself. This tractor that I'm using is actually a backhoe loader, because it has two components. It has the blade in front, which can scoop and load material, and then it has the digger in back, which is the backhoe, and you can dig holes with it. It's a John Deere 510C. That's a commercial tractor, so it's actually meant for road construction and larger projects like that. It's not really meant to be used. I mean, the way I use it as an all-around farm tractor or off-road, it is very heavy machine, and you can get yourself in a lot of trouble with it when you go off-road, as I find out. But it still has the phone number and the graphics on it from the old landscaping company that we bought it from a long time ago. This tractor is from 1985, so that makes it almost 40 years old, and there's been a lot of repairs done to it over the years, and there's a lot of things wrong with it. Right now it's still usable. A lot of the hydraulic cylinders are leaking. There's rust everywhere. Everything's a little loose and clankety, and as I mentioned before, the electrical system is not all there. Many shorts in the electrical system, but still enough to make it go. So let's take a look inside. All right, let me show you inside the cab. Everything in here is very worn out, but this is the main control panel. We've got a fuel gauge, RPM gauge, ignition, headlights. Not much of this really works except the fuel gauge. This is the hand throttle here. And over here we have
the backhoe controls. These two levers control the functions of the backhoe, and these two control the stabilizing arms that you can lower, or stabilizing legs, I should say. Here's the control for the front loader. This raises and lowers, and this tilts, side to side tilts. Then we've got the manual gear shift and the shuttle shift. So it's a standard transmission. You put in the clutch and you can choose the gear that you want to be in, and then this lever here allows you to go forward and reverse like an automatic transmission in any of the gears. Then you have a split brake pedal. You can brake the rear wheels independently of each other, so that allows very tight turns, especially on snow or slippery surfaces or dirt. You can brake one of the wheels and the other wheel will spin you right around. So with that, let's go digging. Let's get in position to dig up this little stump and see what might be underneath it. I'm going very slowly. That's how I like to operate this tractor. I don't want any surprises, and if there are surprises, I like to have a little bit of time to react. Before I start to dig, the first thing I do is I put the front blade down, raise the wheels off the ground, set the emergency brake, and I can swing the seat around, and we'll put down the stabilizers using these two levers here. There we go. That lifts the backhoe up. And next we have the control levers here. These control levers, they each move in 4 directions: forwards, backwards, side to side. So the first one is the main boom. Lower the main boom, then extend the main arm, and I'm also using side to side on this lever to move the entire backhoe side to side, and side to side on this lever will unroll the digger, so you can either release or you can scoop by moving this lever back and forth. Moves the digger in and out, the main claw, and through a combination of these movements you can control the backhoe. Now, after you've practiced with this for a little while, it kind of becomes muscle memory, and then you forget what the controls actually do because your brain just takes over, your muscle memory takes over, and you can make this move very easily in lots of different directions all at once. It's a very powerful tool, and it's a lot of fun to use and learn how to use. You can also make a big mess really quickly with it. All right, let's dig up the stump. If you cut down a tree and you intend to dig up the roots, it sometimes makes it easier to leave a little bit of the stump, and that gives you some leverage to pull it up out of the ground. Now, this is a small tree, so I'm hoping that the backhoe should have an easy time of it. You can see the ground moving around the stump. Looks like I might have to dig a little bit and get these roots up. You can see it moving. There, it's starting to move. Oh, I broke the entire thing in half. Let's see if we can move back and get a little bit more leverage on it. Get underneath it a little. It's in there a lot more strongly than I would have given it credit for such a small tree. Just keep working it. Slowly work the roots loose. There we go. I think we've got the whole root ball now. All right. What I want to do, since I'm interested in what might be in the dirt around this root ball, is I want to try to use the backhoe and shake as much dirt off of it as I can. So that just means rolling it around a little bit and shaking the dirt off. Pushing it back and forth here, trying to shake some of the dirt off. I want to roll it over a little bit. There we go. There we go. All right, I'm gonna dig a little bit here, just because this is where I found a lot of the interesting old iron objects. We'll just take a scoop out here. Loosen the dirt up a little bit so we can look around, see what might be underneath all this. Well, is there anything in here other than rusty nails? That's a root. Well, there's an old railroad spike. Couple more nails here. Square nails. What else do we have in here? Can't tell me that we found everything. Well, I really thought there would be a lot more. Well, do you see anything else? Any other nails or piece of metal in here? What's this? Oh, this is interesting. Look at that. Huh. It's an old hook of some kind. An old hook or a piece of hardware for sure. That's cool. Hey, look what I found. Another horseshoe. That's my lucky day. Oh, that could come in handy. Look at that. That's a nice big iron chisel. Nice. I love finding old things that I can still use.
Well, I'm going to call it a day. It's starting to get a little late in the evening. The sun's going down. We've had a beautiful day here, digging in the old barn foundation. I found a few more things. Found a horseshoe, another horseshoe. Found this great iron chisel. That's something I can still use, clean it up. And the last bit of a broken hoe. Anyway, I didn't find as many things as I thought I would after my initial rush. The first day that I found a bunch of different things and iron nails. But you never know. I guess I just enjoy the search, and I enjoy thinking about the past. So, thanks for coming along. And hopefully I'll see you next time when I get back to work on my woods road.